The box squat is one of the more controversial squat variations, and with good reason. It's often performed incorrectly and in a way that's dangerous. So it's my goal to show you how to do it correctly. And in fact, the box squat without a barbell is one of the first squat exercises that I teach my clients. I love it for a couple different reasons. It teaches people who have never squatted before, especially women who might have a tendency to like plie down into a squat, how to sit back into their hips. It also teaches someone who's very quad dominant, again, a lot of women, to use their glutes and hips to drive themselves out of the hole. And thirdly, it teaches someone who might have kind of a massive anterior pelvic tilt to brace their core and keep their spine more neutral while they're squatting. So the way that I teach the box squat is similar to other squat variations in that my feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. As I've talked about in other videos, your individual setup for the squat might be different than mine. It's going to be based on our goals, our training history, our limb length, areas that we might be weak, different training experiences that we've had. So what I'm going to give you are general guidelines and principles to follow, and you're going to need to play around with a little bit to feel what feels good to you. So again, feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. My toes are generally turned out about 15 to 30 degrees. I'm going to show you what the box squat looks like without a barbell and then with a barbell. So I'm going to get set up, and I set my box up so that when I sit down, I am slightly above parallel, meaning that my thighs are slightly above parallel to the ground. You can set it up higher if you need to, or lower if you want more of a challenge. Your height's going to be determined by how deep you can go while keeping your spine neutral. So feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, toes turned out slightly. I'm going to brace my core before I go. So big deep breath in, drive my air out. Get the rib cage down, and then I'm going to breathe in what's called circumferentially, which means I'm not just expanding into the front, it means I'm expanding into the back and the sides and the front. This creates extra intra-abdominal pressure all the way around and helps stabilize my spine and keep me extra safe. So I'm here, breathe in, blow out, breathe in again, circumferentially. I'm going to drive my knees out and sit back onto the box. In general, with a box squat, you're going to have a little bit more of a forward lean, and because my legs are really long and my torso short, I'm going to have even more of a forward lean than your average person. I'm here, I'm going to brace my core to stand back up off the box and repeat the motion. Get that core nice and braced. Now I'm actually transferring my weight onto the box before standing up. There's a different exercise called a squat to box versus a box squat. The squat to box is generally where you set it up and just use it to gauge depth. So you just come down and tap your butt on the box and then stand back up. So a squat to box looks like this. So I'm not really spending any time on the box, where a box squat, I'm actually transferring a decent amount of my weight onto the box. Now, a couple things that people do that make this extra dangerous is they put the box too low and they're not able to control their weight sitting back. So you'll see them here, and oftentimes with a heavy load on their back, sit back, 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 boom, okay? The last thing you want to do when you have several hundred pounds on your back is to plop down onto a box and put all of that extra pressure and force on your spine. The other thing they do is they set the box too low and they're not able to control their pelvis through the movement. So they're here, they squat, 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 and before they hit the box, they tuck under. Okay. Third thing is they tuck under, and then in order to get up, because their hips and their glutes and their lower body aren't strong enough, they fling themselves off the box by flying into hyperextension. So they're here, they sit back, tuck under, boom, and fling themselves off the box again because their lower body, their hips, their glutes are not strong enough to get them off the box. Fourth are people who rock. Now, the rocking box squat used to be popular many years ago in some powerlifting circles. And that squat is here, rock back, and then come up. We're not going to be doing any of those. We're going to control our descent all the way to the box. We're going to stay very braced, and then we're going to use our core and our glutes and our hips to stand up off the box. So here, big deep breath in, stay nice and braced. Sit back, 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 control it, brace our core, and stand up. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like with the barbell. Just like with other barbell squats, you're going to grab the barbell, hands are going to be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. If you have poor shoulder mobility, your hands might need to go out a little bit wider, but if it's adequate, you can put them in a little bit closer. You're going to squeeze the bar hard, and you're going to squeeze your back together, you want to create a little bit of a shelf for the barbell to sit on. Oftentimes people will complain and say, oh, the barbell hurts my neck. It should not be sitting on your neck or on any bony prominences. You need to create a little bit of shelf with your upper back muscles to set the bar on. So grab the bar, get underneath it, squeeze that back together, create a shelf for it to sit on, squeeze the bar tight, think about pulling your elbows under you a little bit, get set up, feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, toes turned out, nice big deep breath. Fill up 360 degrees with air and sit back. Maintaining a nice neutral spine, stand up. Sit back, stand up. Again, you'll notice I have a little bit more of a forward lean. Number one, the box squat lends itself to a little bit more of a forward lean. And then I have really long femurs in relation to my torso. So I'm going to be leaned a little bit more forward. So again, that's the barbell box squat, and that is how to perform it safely.